I was recently reading in the American Massage Therapy Association publication that the average length of career for massage therapists is 7 years. 7 years! That is not a very long time. One of the reasons for that has to do with the common injuries that are sustained by massage therapists, such as repetitive strain or stress injuries, cumulative trauma disorders, or simply overuse syndrome. Normally, where these injuries fall are the thumbs, the fingers, the wrists, and the shoulders. We all know that massage therapy is a very physical profession, and the reason that people go into the profession is because they love to help people. But does helping others have to happen at your own expense? I'm a native cultural practitioner in Hawaiian healing, and I have a degree in physical therapy. I'm also a licensed massage therapist. From my time learning with Hawaiian elders who have carried teachings of Hawaiian healing, passing it down from generation to generation, I can tell you that that has not been my experience. Many of my master Lomi Lomi teachers were in their 80s and still doing the work. Their career path and life's work was not cut short because of injuries sustained from working on others. So I'm here to share with you 3 tips for longevity. So if you would like to work smarter and not harder to achieve the same results, or if you've ever felt like you are hurting while you're massaging someone else and your body is screaming for a massage, then you want to hear these tips that could work for you. The most common injuries to massage therapists have to do with repetitive strain and overuse of the thumbs, fingers, wrists, and shoulders. One of the reasons that Lomi Lomi can be very beneficial is that we use a variety of tools besides the fingers and thumbs to achieve therapeutic results. If we do use our thumbs or fingers, we're usually using them in a reinforced way, and it looks like this. We have a relaxed contact with our thumb. Then we lay the other hand over the thumb in order to very specifically release certain areas of the body tissues. If we're using our fingers, typically we'll put our fingers down and we put our hand on top, allowing all of the joints to be relaxed as we press into the fingers, taking care to avoid hyperextension. We also typically use our forearms. We use our elbows, we use our knees. We can even use our feet. We also use implements, such as heated stones, shells, or even sticks, to gently release the tissues. We use hot stones as extensions of our hands to gently release the body. It's important to allow the heat of the stones to penetrate the tissues, breaking the pain cycle and allowing you to sink deeply without having to increase the amount of force or pressure that you are giving. Using your body weight and larger muscle groups instead of muscle force through broader tools such as the forearm, knees, and feet, this will also help you to diminish the amount of wear and tear on the smaller joints of the wrists and fingers. It's important to keep your joints open using a relaxed contact with whatever tool you decide to use on the body. Let's take the forearm as an example. In Lomi Lomi, we use a relaxed contact with our forearm, and usually the tools that we're going to use are either the thumb pad with a soft tissue over it, or the forearm, and specifically this upper 1/3 fleshy portion of the forearm. When we use the forearm in a relaxed way, the body can receive in a relaxed way. The laws of physics tell us that each action has an equal and opposite reaction. So that if I go in with a relaxed contact, that's what I'm going to be met with by the client's tissues on the other side. If I then extend my wrist and create tension in the muscles of the forearm, then when I go to use that tool on their body has to match my tension with the same amount of tension. If my end goal is to achieve relaxation, and yet they have to push up against me with tension, then it's going to take a lot longer to achieve my end result. Now, what happens if I then turn my forearm and I begin to use the bony aspect of my forearm? What will happen is that their bodies will have to come up with enough tension to push against me that's going to match bone. What's going to happen when their tissues are wedged between bones is tissue breakdown. And breaking down tissue will cause them injury. An inflammatory response will be initiated, and this typically takes between 48 and 72 hours to complete before they get to receive the full benefit and therapeutic result of the treatment. In Lomi Lomi, my clients can get that desired result right now because I went in with a nice soft tool at a speed that can be received. Their tissues will have had enough time and relaxed contact to receive and open to the soft tool that's being used. This is a simple formula to give them access to the therapeutic results right here and now. If I keep tension in my body and I close my joints by extending my wrists, what happens is that energy gets stuck in my body. And there's not a clear flow of energy between the client and I, or between spirit and myself as I work on the client. That's when it becomes dangerous. That's when different energies can get stuck either in the wrist, the elbow, or in the shoulder. And if I do that on a regular basis, I will find myself with carpal tunnel or tennis elbow or some other tendonitis in the shoulder as a result of the energy not being able to move through and flow freely. If you want to keep your personal energy high and extend the longevity of your time in the healing arts, you've got to learn to work smarter, not harder. It's all about efficiency in your body mechanics, which means stacking your weight behind your work. In Lomi Lomi, it's all about working less work and more efficiency in your body. Too often we try to muscle through a session not even realizing that we aren't being efficient in our bodies, and in fact we might even be using our bodies in a way that will create a situation where we're more prone to injury, expending much more effort than is necessary to achieve the same desired results. And yes, we are supporting healing in others, but remember, we don't want to do it at our expense. So to demonstrate that, I want to do an exercise. I'll need 2 people. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our forearms and we're going to make contact. We place our forearms in the same location on one another, and we're going to stack our joints behind our work. See how much more efficient you can be in your body when you're doing this. If you're not stacked, you can sag either in the mid-back or in the shoulder, causing you to have to use more muscle force to achieve the same amount of pressure. You may even have to push with your forearm muscles, expending energy. Instead, just allow yourself to be long in the body, pushing off the ground and allowing that to be the source of power. Allow that energy to move from the ground through the hips, through the shoulder, through the forearm, and into the person that you're working on. Feel the difference when you are using efficiency in your body mechanics. Now you're just hanging out instead of muscling through your session. And I promise you, you'll get to the end of 6 hours of massage feeling more energized because you have a nice open flow in all of your channels and joints, and because you stacked behind your work and haven't expended all of your energy in an inefficient way to achieve your desired therapeutic results. When you use your forearms instead of the small muscles of your fingers and wrists, allowing the power instead to come up through the larger muscle groups like your legs, now you're going to be much more efficient with the ability to give a greater amount of pressure. You're also going to have more energy for yourself, your family, and you're going to be able to do this work like many of my teachers have for a long, long time. I expect that I'm going to be an old auntie one day, still sharing and teaching Lomi Lomi as a result of putting these teachings into practice. Mahalo for being here with me today. Be on the lookout for the follow-up training to this video, which will show you the one main thing that you can do to bring this all together and take it to the next level. Just check your email inbox tomorrow. Aloha!